Shooting the wedding was beautiful. It was some of my first scenes back to the show.
The ceremony was impeccable. This was supposed to be the best day ever for Cassie and Nate. But everything falls apart. We always love a scene that brings all the cast together.
When we're all together as an ensemble, the energy is really dynamic.
Everyone shows up ready to work and, kind of locked in.
We've had this family for our entire 20s.
So it was really, really special to be there with everyone and see everyone grown up, and it was a wonderful kind of celebration.
How long is this tree? 16 feet. Cassie feels very excited.
I co-designed Cassie's dress with this phenomenal New York-based designer, Jackson Wiederhoft.
She wanted to have that huge ball gown, full-blown glamour. I had worn Wiederhoft's dresses before, and I was obsessed with her corsetting.
She's wearing 8-inch Jimmy Choo heels, and Cartier provided $500,000 worth of diamonds. Thank you, Cartier. For Jacob, Bottega Veneta graciously offered to provide his wardrobe this season. They ended up making him a beautiful custom tuxedo for the wedding. Maddie's look was really hard. I was kind of struggling to find anything that would hold a candle to that wedding dress. And then I was meditating, and the vision of Maddie's dress came to me. It's gravity-defying, like an Alexander Calder sculpture. You're just like, how is the whole front of that gown balancing on this rosary?
Maddie's worn a cross from season 1, and then season 3 even more. It's a bold move to have the rosary hanging right above my tasteful bum. God can be anywhere.
Lexi's wedding look, it's Nana Jacqueline. Jules is Acne Spring 2023 runway sample. It's one of one. She and Rue having that tonal similarity was a symbol of their connection.
I didn't expect to see you here. Didn't expect to be here. She's my +1.
Please rise for the bride.
The wedding ceremony takes place outside at the Huntington Langham Hotel in Pasadena. We took over the entire south lawn of the hotel.
The set design was insane. I've never seen so many flowers in my life.
I talked to Sam early on about what the color palette was going to be for the wedding. I told him that I was inspired by a shrimp cocktail. So I literally sampled the pinks from a shrimp. And then that became the color palette for the wedding, which I thought was kind of fun. So that color palette transfers through into our interior set, which we've built here at Warner Brothers, which is this massive Spanish Revival interior. And it's a bit over the top, all of these incredibly detailed tables and the flower arrangements and the food. It's supposed to be very Californian, and it feels like it could ostensibly be a room inside the Langham Hotel.
You'd walk in and you have no idea you're inside a stage. The ice sculptures are ridiculous.
Oh, you look beautiful.
Oh, chubby, it's humiliating.
Oh, it'll get thinner as it melts.
But I don't want my boobs to melt too quickly.
The one thing I kept thinking about was he should smile, even if he doesn't feel like it. I remember in the first 2 seasons thinking to myself, he cannot smile, like he does not smile. And this season, his smile says so much about him. He truly believes in Cassie as something that is good for his life.
But Cassie starts to learn and realize that Nate has been lying to her this entire time.
Hey, don't you think it's a little foolish to throw such a lavish party when you owe so many people money?
Everything's crumbling around her.
It's hard for Lexi to watch Cassie make bad decisions over and over and over again. Is everything okay?
What a weird question to ask on the best day of my life.
For Maddie, she feels going into it very confident, but I think she experiences a lot more emotion than she anticipated.
Should we go?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Come on.
No.
Jules must be going to this wedding for a reason. Part of it's curiosity, part of it's Rue. But I think she wanted to see Nate.
You are the last person I expected to be here.
Jules still confused about feelings for Nate and the person that she thought Nate was.
We know from the previous seasons that Nate played a significant role in her mind.
I've spent every moment of every day getting to know you. I kind of feel closer to you than I do to anyone in the whole world.
For what it's worth, everything I ever said was true.
There is the fantasy of what it could have been if he was not as troubled. Here we are, we've both sort of moved on and things are the way they are.
We've all grown up and Nate's better at listening and he's maybe more aware of himself. You love who you love.
There's a lot that's unsaid in the scene between Nate and Jules, and its poignancy is in how the audience can interpret it in a multitude of ways.
Thank you for coming.
Sure.
My favorite look on Jules this season was her wedding look as a tiny little ode to season 1. I wanted to bring back this iridescent, like periwinkle glitter. I gave her like some spiky lashes for the first time. She's a sugar baby. She has a sugar daddy paying for her apartment. She's going on these dates with guys to make money. When she's meeting Ellis for the first time, I did like a glossy, rosy lip, which is also not really typical for Jules for what we've done.
You have a family?
I do.
Does your wife know you do this?
Her nails were like this chrome red with this three-dimensional sort of spine going down, kind of dominatrix, kind of dark, kind of haunting. She could have gone the way of the artist, but she's enjoying being the muse, and her makeup needs to reflect that.
Remember me?
How could I forget?
I really love Eric a lot. And maybe 4 or 5 months before we started shooting, he reached out to me and, told me about his diagnosis. And he said, look, I don't know how fast this is going to go, and I don't know what kind of shape I'm going to be in and how this is going to affect things. And I just said, we're going to make it all work. I just tried to make it the best experience possible for him. And he's terrific in the season.
Who is that?
I think she's an old friend of Nate's. This has been the most profound experience of my career. I really got on well with all the people I work with, and it was great to see them all again. Nate, I love you. The evolution of Cal is linear. There's Act 1 where you get to meet Cal, there's Act 2 where you get to see Cal, and there's Act 3 where you don't want to be Cal.
You're one of those red dots.
Modern day Scarlet Letter. Cal and Jules, it was nice to see the two of them as adults. It was nice to wrap that up. Youth is beautiful. High school, best years of our lives.
Couldn't disagree more. Have fun.
We all got a dark side, right?
I know I got one.
You do. Mine's a little darker than yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. The improv elements on set were pervasive throughout that whole sequence.
Like
you
that.
know who you remind me of?
Who?
A guy named Lloyd. You know Lloyd?
No. Who's
You
that?
don't know Lloyd? Say this, repeat after me.
Okay.
Your money's no good here, Mr. Torrance.
Eric Dane definitely had some choice bits that uncover some extra layers from the character that you might have not had initially.
I always made sure I had a few ideas when I showed up on set. Did you see the bride? Lucky son of a bitch. This show was a very stress-free environment for me, and seeing all those familiar faces was such a treat. It's been a fun ride.
Just remember your steps. Smile. I'm not a dancer at all, but Sydney's such a sport, and she takes such great care of me.
I've never really done that before, and I'm not sure if Jacob has. He killed it. We were breaking a sweat.
Today we had rehearsal for the wedding dance, and I was so excited to work with these two.
Ryan's a genius, and he's so wonderful and kind.
It was nice to create a piece that is a little inappropriate, I guess, for a wedding dance, but I think that's where the humor comes in.
There's guitar moments and strip teasing for the whole audience to see.
It's a little tacky, it's a little like harsh, it's too sexy, but they're, bride and groom that are nervous and they're dancing in front of their friends and they learn this dance.
I'm pretty uncoordinated, which kind of served the character, I suppose, because it's sort of what he might be like in that situation. But it was a lot of fun, but also when you dance in front of 400 people that you don't know, that's my nightmare.
Top of that, shake it fast, top of that to the left and the right.
I don't know if they're gonna show this or if it'll be fun BTS that'll be shown, but Jacob, Ma, me, we're all dancing.
And I got to stand with the whole cast and we got to do this line dance and just shoot for like 20 minutes dancing. I felt like I was in that sequence in Deer Hunter.
Everyone was just crying tears of laughter. That was really fun shooting those dancing scenes. I felt like a fever dream.
How romantic. That was a beautiful wedding.
Once Cassie and Nate come home after their wedding, fate meets them at the door. Nate starts getting beat up and Cassie's thrown off of him. And originally in the script, Cassie then would follow and kept trying to attack the guy.
We had this stunt rehearsed and very well mapped out.
Light comes on, you put her down. Hey,
let's talk about this. Come on.
But then once she starts crying, we thought like, this is just funnier than the action aspect of the scene. And Sam says, why don't we just shoot her just sitting there and this whole thing starts to take place behind her.
Your face in the ground, so you've got blood just coming right off it. We go from that blood to her looking up. Sid is absolutely brilliant in that scene. I'm crying with laughter every time I watch it.
What is happening right now?
I just need a couple of days.
When the toe gets chopped off and then it squirts blood, I will bring on a special effects team. In this case, it was Vincent Van Dyke Studios to make these limbs that are incredibly realistic. They're Jacob's foot. They're rigged and designed to be cut and then to squirt blood.
It's like the blend of violence and darkly comic that it reminds me of some of the great moments like Coen Brothers. P.T. Anderson's also really great at comedy and violence.
What this season's about is actions have consequences, and you can only outrun your mistakes for so long. By the end of episode 3, you have a good sense of where this story's going. Cassie realizes that the life that she's been living has been a bit of a fantasy. It wasn't real. We start to understand the weight and gravity of Nate's situation. And for the first time, Rue's in deep fucking shit. It dawns on Rue that she's in the real world and there's real consequences to her behavior.
Ruby Bennett?
Yeah.
DEA.